something in your area.
So I was saying to you that I don't think that he'll be able to participate in a way that's meaningful because his speech is compromised.
Okay, can I depend on you or somebody to get a address where he is so we could send him a card? I can send him a card.
I will get that tomorrow because his I want his family to work with me, so I'll get it tomorrow. She'll give
Okay,
me the updates, so I'll get it tomorrow.
thank you.
Yes.
Bye, mommy.
Making out, coming to come.
Okay, great.
I, I can mute off for a moment here.
Okay, and it's 5:01, so we can get started. We need 3 persons to be present because we only have 5 of us. I see Member Hendricks,
It's
Delegate
601 as well.
Hendricks.
It's not 5.
I'm sorry,
601, not 501.
5:01 here. Where Rudell is
Oh,
too. So we need 3 of us, so we have 3, so we can get started. Thank you for being here. I'm, if you hear me sounding a little strange, I had a haircut and then I went and looked in the crisper in the refrigerator and put my head in the refrigerator. And because I'm so young, I got the ague, so now I have a cold, but I can speak. Thank you. I see there are some other persons who are in here. Delegate Hendricks, Delegate Devin, Delegate Wells, Delegate Rudell Ahards Jr., and Delegate Amani Daniel. Thank you for being present. Excuse me. Where's anybody in the gallery who needs to make a comment or some kind of information you'd like to share with the group before we officially get our meeting started? 2, 3, 4, 6, hearing none. Okay, thank you for being here for the cultural and heritage meeting. We're getting down to the wire. We were working on the preamble last week, and we're down to the last paragraph in the preamble. We're going to have the side by side in 2 seconds so we can see what we've done and what we need to do to complete the preamble. And then we're going to work on Article 14, which is culture. So let me have a few seconds while my technician, Mr. Wells.
Yay for Mr. Wells.
good afternoon.
Mr. Hendricks, he has his headphone on. He said, good afternoon. This is, I noticed there's a segue here. I noticed there's a group of young people, Imani and Rudell, you must know about this, who are offering technical advice to us and others of my ilk. And I thought that was a very, very good thing to be doing. They were chosen, I guess, by a group of persons who are running this VICCA, I think it is. And now it's time for the seniors who want to learn how to do chat and do your email and stuff to sign up. And I think that's an excellent thing because luckily I'm here with Mr. Wells because I've learned a lot. Let me tell you, there's a lot to learn and I've learned a lot. So I take my hat off to you, member, delegates, Rudell Ahards Jr. and Imani Daniel, because you have certainly taught us a lot. I know it's hard for you, but you have taught me a lot. I've learned a lot about this technology part of the whole span. I enjoy it, but it's so much to remember, and I always have to have my book to write down because I have to write it down as Mr. Wells is telling it to me, and then I go back and review it and try it, and then if I can't get it, I run into his office and he has to show me all over again. But one thing I must say, y'all never get disgust of us. So thank you.
It is an honor and a privilege.
I was
Yes.
just about to say, every time Rudell and Imani see my name, they say, "Oh my God, what you want now?"
That is not true. That is not true. We're
But
here for
Miss
the
Wells,
technical
that class that
assistance.
you are talking about, you have any more information about it?
I just saw it yesterday on Facebook.
I
I
can
think
share the link 1 second.
okay, Rudell has it. It's not being offered in St. John because that was my question. It's in St. Thomas and St. Croix only, but I thought it was a good use of young people's time and for our time also. So there's no reason for us not to try to at least get halfway up the ladder on how to do all these things. I think I've learned a lot here, I must tell you. But now I was told by Mr. Wells that my computer is so slow, I need a new one. So I'm accepting gifts. February 2nd is my birthday. And I don't know if this one is going to last until then, but it has done really well for the time I've had it. Okay, if we look at the screen, tell me if you can see the Cultural and Heritage Workbook. Thank you very much, Imani. This
No,
works
I don't
really
see it.
well. Yeah, it says Cultural and Heritage Workbook. Are you seeing
No,
that?
I still have the host has enabled local recordings. Please stay in the studio. That's what I have on my phone.
Oh,
Delegate
it-
Hendricks, do you see like an OK or an X option?
OKX. No.
Like
I
to
see
click.
something say we recommend using Wi-Fi.
and Delegate Hendricks, Delegate Hodge Jr. has put up the website for you to check on that. The Youth Advocacy Coalition works to empower seniors through technology. That's the name of the group. So you're not seeing that either, since you're
No.
not seeing, and you're on your phone,
Yes.
but you're not on Wi-Fi. You have no Wi-Fi there.
Wait, I'm seeing it now. Not what you just said. It says you're in the show. Everyone can see you and hear you.
But you're not seeing and hearing this. You're not seeing the screen.
Yes.
Oh, you're seeing it.
Yes.
Okay, so if you probably just look for a message from Delegate Hodge, it's going to tell you it's the St. Thomas sources that had that group, that question you asked.
Okay.
Okay, great. So we're looking at, Devin, are you back on? I know you're getting kicked out back and forth now. And good afternoon, Delegate Russell Jr. Esquire. It's good seeing you on here, and I know that you're hearing us, and we appreciate that. Be well, get well soon, and we're looking forward to seeing you on the Big Island, St. John. Okay, so the only member that we have who is not in attendance is Akima Richardson. I didn't hear from her today. All right, we're looking at the last paragraph because the first section we did last week, that was agreed upon by the persons who were present. Can we move the screen over so that we can see the sixth draft, what we wrote for that section there? We're looking at section 1 with the original of the preamble for the fifth draft. So we're going to move over so we can see the what was decided on for the sixth draft. Thank you very much. We, the people of the Virgin Islands. There you go. Are you seeing that, Delegate Hendricks?
Yes.
Okay. So on your right is the fifth draft, and on your left, no, I'm sorry, on your left is the fifth draft. On your right is a proposed preamble from the Sixth Constitutional Convention. And it says, we, the people of the Virgin Islands, grateful to our Creator for our existence, preservation, natural freedom, and divine guidance, mindful of our Virgin Islands heritage and uniqueness, assuming the responsibilities of self-government as a colony of the United States, maintain a republican form of government, and in order to promote more unity among our islands for ourselves and our posterity, promote the general welfare, pursue and strive for fundamental rights and freedoms of the individual and the collective, ensure political, social, economic, and environmental justice, protect our culture and natural resources, and preserve the identity of the Virgin Islands. So that was what was agreed on last week where we worked on this. And whereas we recognize and honor the original indigenous peoples of these Virgin Islands, including Djibouti, Tiano, and Kalingo, or the Carib, who for centuries cultivated these lands and waters, developed sophisticated knowledge systems, engaged in regional trade, and maintained rich cultural traditions rooted in respect for the natural world. Their displacement and dissemination during European colonization mark a profound loss that we must remember as we envision a more just and equitable future. And then the second whereas we, any questions so far? No, the introduction or the first whereas clause. Questions or comments?
May I?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I think we went through several. We had such a productive meeting last meeting. Now that I'm scrolling through, but it looks like we have like 8 or 9 paragraphs that we approved, and then I still had some additional language to suggest that we didn't get a chance to talk about.
Right. So I think that the last paragraph from the original 5th constitutional, we didn't do anything with that, and then we had these purple ideas that we didn't go into because of the time. So those are the ones you're going to speak to. Member Delegate Daniel.
I would like to, if the committee is interested in it. Again, the blue language are bullet point suggestions. I have a language paragraph for each. I would love to present them because I really like them, but it really is up to how the committee would like to use its time.
Well, I'm open for having whatever you need to add so that then first you can add it and then we could discuss it. Delegate Hendricks, do you have any particular choice on how you'd like this to be
No, not
handled?
at all. I'll go with the flow.
Okay, and Delegate Carrington, I hope he didn't get kicked out again. Oh, there he is. Okay, so you can go ahead, Delegate Daniel.
Madam Chairman, I'm here.
Thank you very much, Member Liliana
Bellardo.
O'Neill. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Before I begin, is Delegate Ross here?
I don't see him, but that doesn't mean he's not here.
Okay, I was working with him earlier to make sure he would be able to join, so I'm just going to double check on that.
You need a few minutes to check on him?
I'm sorry?
You need a few minutes to check on him?
Yes, just really quickly.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Member Bellardo O'Neill, we just started and we were reviewing, well, thank you for being here. We're reviewing the whereas clauses, the first and the second one that we've discussed and agreed on last week. We have one more paragraph and some other bullet points that we didn't get into last week. So that's where we are. And
thank you.
You're welcome. Delegate Daniel was going to go over some of those bullet points before we went further. And she's now checking on Delegate Rupert Ross Jr. because he was having an issue getting on. We have Member Ronald Russell, but who he's only here. He's not going to be speaking, but he's going to be listening. So we're happy to have him as part of our meeting here today. We're waiting
Delegate
for.
Wells, could you check and see if Delegate Ross is in the waiting room?
Okay, I'll
Because
check.
he's saying the host is waiting to let him in.
No, we don't see him.
Okay.
Can we send him the link again, or does he need something else from us here? While Delegate Daniel is trying to get Delegate Rupert Ross Jr. on, uh, Ronnie Russell said hello and he's happy to be on, and then we're wishing him a speedy recovery. While the sentences that you're seeing on your screen on the right, that's the one says no mention of reparative or restorative justice, lack of language or generational continuity. Those are some bullet points that were brought up at the end of the last meeting where we didn't do anything with them. So we're hoping to be able to do that today or make them inclusive and then continue on should time allow with
Delegate Wells, would you mind checking the waiting room for
okay.
Delegate Ross?
All right. No, we're still not seeing him.
You're still not seeing me?
Still,
I'm
no.
hearing you.
Yes, he's on my phone.
Oh,
Turn up the.
but we're not seeing him on our screen here.
I can see her. I can hear her.
I'm hearing you also.
So I'm pretty sure that Streamlab has a limitation on the amount of people that could be on the stage at the moment. If you want to remove Delegate Russell, since she's not going to be speaking, you could add Delegate Ross.
Okay.
Russell isn't on.
Russell wasn't on, so there's nothing to remove. He was just in the chat.
Imani, this is what I was telling you when I didn't get on. I was telling you that it would say things like you have to wait until somebody leaves in order for you to get in. A few times when I tried getting in, that's the message I was getting.
Right.
Well, we'll still try to get Delegate Rupert Ross Jr. in.
I will back down, and then when I need to speak, I will ask to come up.
I will see if we can get. Then we'll see if we can get Delegate Rupert Ross Jr. in. Then, thank you, Rudel. All right, Imani.
Yes, I'm following. I still have Delegate Ross here on the phone. So is he able to be admitted now that Rudel is in the waiting room?
We're checking.
Okay. We will figure it out.
Yes. We're not seeing Delegate Ross Jr. at all.
You know, see, it says, according to my system, it says you're backstage. Only the host can see you. The host may add you to the stage at any time. Be ready, so.
Yes.
I'm hearing you very well from my Imani's phone. Anything?
They're still working on it, sir.
It's all right, man.
I don't see him at all. There have 10 seats. There's not 10 people on.
Well, we have 10 seats and we only have 6 people on. So, and we're not seeing you, Rupert. I don't know. I'm a neophyte here. I'm just waiting for Mr. Wells.
I'm like you. The same thing happened last week. That's why I couldn't. I enjoyed the meeting.
I empathize with you because I was just saying before we got started, thank Thank you, Jesus, for delegates Imani Daniel and Rudel Hodge Jr. and Mr. Wells, because if I were home on St. John, I would not be able to get this. I know that. Way up in the bushes.
Well,
So, Imani, can you do what you need to do and still let Rupert use your phone, or you need to have him off your phone?
No, I can, but I'd like him to join so he can see the screen of the language that we're reviewing.
Uh-huh.
So that's why I was hoping we could figure it out. I have no problem with him staying on the phone, but I would like to figure out how to get him included if
Can
we
we
can.
bring him in a different, whatever you call it, rather than StreamYard? I know we had we gave
YouTube.
YouTube as one of the areas that you can get on, and StreamYard. Rupert, can you get on YouTube, you think? I'm just saying what I'm heard because
I'll give it a shot. Keep in mind, I'm like you.
A neophyte.
My
I am scared to give up my seat because I know I will not get back on.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all.
So
I'm not a committee member, so don't give up your seat for me necessarily.
Yeah, but we want you to be able to fully participate.
right.
I
So
know, I understand, but I don't want to deny committee members they assign duties either. So let me see if I can get on through Chrome.
Okay, if you try that, and then Imani, you could go ahead and make your presentation.
okay, just give me 1 second to wrap up with Delegate Ross, okay?
Okay.
Thanks.
So for those persons, members, delegates who are still on here, you're looking at the right-hand side of the Cultural and Heritage Workbook. Yes? And I don't see. Okay, and it's written in purple, and there are 5 bullet points or sentences. So we all are on the same page. Everyone's seeing that. Can you see it,
No,
Delegate Hendricks?
nope.
On the right-hand side of your screen?
No, it says all I have here is you're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you. And then it goes down to say, stay in the studio until your recordings are uploaded.
Huh. Delegate Rudel Hodges Jr., can you come back on and tell me if you're seeing it on your screen?
I can see it on my screen. Yes, I can.
Okay.
No, I'm not seeing it at all.
But Devin is on Devin is on mute. Then you have to step right in the back. Delegate Carrington. Delegate Carrington. I'm not hearing you. You're saying something, but it's not coming through clearly. It's muffled. I know you're saying something, but it's muffled.
Is it my audio that's messing up?
I don't know who's, but somebody is trying to say something, and it's very muffled. All right, say something. Imani, let me see.
Is it my
No,
audio?
you're fine. Probably it was. Is Devin? Can you say something so I can see if it's yours that was muffled?
I think we. Oh, okay.
As I'm
Okay, you
saying,
can.
there's nothing on my screen except that I am in the show. Everyone can see and hear me. Uploading records. Stay in the studio
So, but you're not on.
until your recordings are uploaded.
So you're not on Wi-Fi.
No, I didn't touch anything.
No, no, Wi-Fi is so you can be able to see and read these things here. That's on the screen. Okay.
I-
In the essence of time.
I can hear at least.
Okay, well that's good. And Rupert is going to try another mode to get on.
Can she X out or something? Because I don't know what. I can't see your screen.
Mr. Wells is saying he's not seeing your screen.
Like, can she press something to get rid of that message?
The message that you're reading, can you delete that message any place from your phone? Member
Talking to me, Miss
Hendricks?
Wells?
Yes. The message that
And-
tell you you're in the studio, whatever. Do you see an X any place that you could
I don't
X
see an
out of
X.
that?
I see something that look like a flower. Then there's an arrow, and then there's a camera.
A flower, an arrow, and a
up,
camera.
up arrow.
There's no X to take you out of that message that you've seen on your screen, huh?
I don't know which one of them to touch.
Oh.
Touch one of them.
Just touch anyone. That seems like that was a mute because it has you on mute now.
Yeah. Okay.
Now
the
you're
arrow,
off mute.
I touch
Touch
the
another
arrow,
one.
the camera, a X. Gone through it. No, none of them didn't work. Wow.
And how was Rupert doing? He's trying to get in.
He's doing well. I was able to send him this document. So we're just getting him access so that he can follow along, and then he'll keep his audio on my phone.
Okay, so we can, the only person who's having some problem who's not seeing the document is Delegate Hendricks.
No. And I was seeing it before.
Before at another meeting or before today?
No, when we started out.
So what happened?
I don't
Delegate
know. I didn't
Hendricks,
touch
can you
it.
just refresh your page? Just refresh the whole browser that you're in.
Tell me what to
Sometimes
do.
that clears issues.
You have to break that down because I can't even explain to her what that means.
So that basically means that you are going to take the URL and you're going to copy it, erase it, and paste it, and then press enter.
Uh-huh.
Rudel.
I can't even respond to that to help you, Member
Have her
Hendricks.
Nor can I.
Exit completely on her phone and to log back in.
Exit completely on your phone and come back into the meeting, Member Mr. Wells said.
Okay.
Let's give you a minute to see how that works.
While we're waiting, maybe we could have just a high level conversation about each of these bullet points.
Yes.
And just how members of the committee feel about them, about including them into the preamble.
Okay. I particularly like the point that the second point, there's lack of language and generational continuity, because we don't have a lot of assisted living. We don't have any assisted living homes in the Virgin Islands. I don't see any being built in the next 20 years. Person states I can go and take their aged parents to a place and just leave them a place for mom or whatever. So that bullet point there is very important to me. And I think because the population, and I've said often that the population in the Virgin Islands is becoming an older population, and I guess the trend will continue unless we all start having more children, I guess. That to me is very, very important for the next 20 years at least.
And I agree. I do think that there needs to be a deliberate shift in Virgin Islanders planning towards the elderly. I think the historical plan so far has been once they become a quote unquote nuisance, send them to the States versus keep them in the place that they was born and raised. So we definitely need to come up with some type of solutions in this constitution that can trickle down into the effect of having a better representation for the elderly and youth populations. I do think they're interconnected.
True. There was a push towards and this is like 20 years ago in the area of Bethany Moravian Church. There was supposed to be a building that was supposed to be constructed through grants, I guess, or loans. I don't remember if it was SBA or some other grant to build uh, uh, something similar to assisted living facility. And I don't know what happened to that. And I meant to follow up on it, and I didn't. So um, I still have time. I can follow up and find out where they are with that, because probably now there are more places where funds can be gotten to push for this assisted living facility, and also for the young people also, because there are a lot of young people below 30 who are homeless. I didn't realize that the population has grown so much, and of course we don't see them often, and they're well hidden, or they can hide themselves well, but we have to look after that also. Imani?
Yes. Okay, great. So the next one, well, the first was I guess I can just go through these. So the no mention of reparative or restorative justice, I thought that this might be the only place that we can put it in, but the human right to seek justice, especially given our circumstance and context. We talked about generational continuity. Gender justice and inclusion, I think we need to be firm and direct on the inclusion and protection of women and girls. The no reference to climate resilience or environmental justice. Similarly, I think that's just a value that as Virgin Islanders, we should enshrine and rally behind. And then the preamble as an abstract, that's not something to include. That's a stylistic recommendation that once we go through the entire Constitution, there might be additional values that we want to highlight in the preamble. So just making the recommendation, of course, like all of the Constitution, but specifically the preamble to hold that loose until we find out what the other committees are suggesting.
As an aside, is there a plan or an agenda type for the plenary session on how we're going to handle the work that each committee has completed so far at the plenary, or that hasn't been discussed as yet?
We have not discussed that yet.
Okay.
Or I should say I have not been in those discussions, but I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll find out soon.
Okay. I don't see Member Hendricks. He's probably having a problem getting back in.
I did just want to quickly read in the chat, or not quickly, but Delegate Russell said, I think to what you were talking about, Chair Wells, the GERS board has discussed building assisted living properties on land owned by GERS.
Oh, I see that. Thank you. Thank you, Delegate Russell. This property is where, do you know? Can you just, let me just put that in there. I just wanted to know where the property is looking, if it's the same one.
Okay, so I'm not hearing any support or opposition. Actually, Rudell did support on the generational continuity. So I guess I can just bring them up one by one. They're just paragraphs of how I think we could address each of these things. But I guess before I do that, the question is, are there other values that are missing from the preamble that folks would like to highlight that we could then try to build language around together?
I'm good with what we've done so far. I'm hearing no other comment. You can go right ahead.
Yeah, similarly, I think I'm good with the process of just seeing what you have, and then once we see what you have added, I can go through them one more time to see if there's anything else. But as of right now, I have nothing to add per se.
Okay, and Delegate Russell said that the property is east on St. Croix, and it's close to Home Depot and St. Thomas. So I guess that's near where my brother's workshop is on St. Thomas. No mention of St. John. Okay, Imani, you could go right ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to start with reparative justice. Give me 1 second, and I'm going to add it on the screen. Okay, please excuse the formatting, and I will read it. And these are very direct and comprehensive because we reserve that right in the preamble. So,
Okay.
whereas centuries of slavery, colonial exploitation, racial discrimination, and political disenfranchisement have inflicted material, psychological, and systemic harm to the people of the Virgin Islands, particularly those of African descent. And whereas justice demands not only recognition of these historical injustices, but the moral imperative of the pursuit of meaningful reparative and restorative measure to heal, repair, and empower current and future generations. We affirm our commitment to structural redress, historical accountability, and the reclamation of our collective dignity and agency.
1000% co-sign the language.
What did you say?
Be in this 1000% co-sign this language. This has to be in the preamble.
It's very strong language.
Hello, I finally
Very
got
strong
it.
language. Delegate Hendricks, that's you?
I finally got in and I missed it. But that's okay.
Imani could read it over again since you said you can't see the screen. Can you see the screen now?
No, I was
Okay,
hearing Imani.
Imani, would you read that over again for Delegate Hendricks?
Yes. Whereas centuries of slavery, colonial exploitation, racial discrimination, and political disenfranchisement have inflicted material, psychological, and systemic harm to the people of the Virgin Islands, particularly those of African descent. And whereas justice demands not only recognition of these historical injustices, but the moral imperative of the pursuit of meaningful reparative and restorative measures to heal, repair, and empower current and future generations. We affirm our commitment to structural redress, historical accountability, and the reclamation of our collective dignity and agency.
And Rudell, would you say what you said? Repeat what you said.
I 1000% co-sign this language. This absolutely has to be in the preamble.
And I agreed. It's
Sure.
strong, and it says exactly a lot of things that we're thinking, and probably a lot of people are thinking it too, and timid about saying, but we need to be strong and say what we feel. I agree with everything in that those two paragraphs. There's gonna be wordsmithing later on for the whereas and all of that, but I agree. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. I'd
Um,
love to hear from the other delegates.
Oh, I was Rudel second and I third.
Delegate Russell said, I also suggest converting the appeal for gasoline excise tax into the restorative portion, Imani.
Converting the appeal for gasoline excise tax into the restorative portion. I think I'd need to better understand how to incorporate that.
Okay,
I'm
so
not
I could put that in the chat to him while you continue. Tell him to expound on it, right?
right. And I do remember that he sent a brief or something about the case that he had been working on
Right.
through the lens of restorative justice.
But he
And I remember he brought that up months ago. So I'm just curious about how best we can incorporate or give honor to that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if that's where it should go. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have it somewhere, but I don't know if that is the correct place to put it. But I listen.
Continue, Imani.
Okay. Okay. Well,
I'm writing the questions to Toronto.
okay. So previously, at this stage, the committee members and the rest of the delegates would kind of vote yay or nay on this section, and then we would move on. So we could either do that, or I could just move on to the next section, whichever.
Oh, let's go yeah. Well, we had 3 yeas because Rudel, member Hendrick said she is, I am, 2, and Devin, we need
Rudel,
one more.
3.
Devin isn't on. Delegate Russell is for it, so that's a 3. So it's passed. So you
Okay.
can move on. Yes, it was passed.
Okay, so I'm going to move on to address generational continuity. Give me 1 second to bring it over.
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
All right. I was trying.
Would you like to speak to the?
Yeah, I like the language. It's strong, and I can support it. My only reservation is making this preamble too long.
So as we speak now, you think it's too long?
No, the things that it contains, you mean, will be making it too long?
I think that it has the potential of becoming too long.
Well, I think that during the plenary session, I'm sorry, member Hendricks, you were saying something?
No, my question is, he thinks that it's too long as it stands now?
I said I think that it has the potential of becoming too long.
May I?
Yes, you may.
Yeah, I fully agree, Devin, and I'm about to make it a third longer with these 4 paragraphs. And so maybe we get the agreed upon language and then we have an intentional like whittle down process. I also don't know what the best practice or the guidance is on length of preambles, right? So I'd have to look and see if other people took their liberties or if they were just in and out. But yeah, I do agree that we should be cognizant of losing people in the preamble.
But then also, with the help of the attorney, we'll be able to have legal expertise on length and language, yes? Someone said something? Oh, I see that member Richardson is on. Welcome.
Thank you, Delegate Wells. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. To the delegates and to Imani specifically, I just did some quick research. Typically, preambles are 140 to 250 in word length. The fifth had 216 words, and the longest preamble is a Chad 2018 Constitution that had 730 words. So there is some wiggle room if you want. We won't, unless we get over 731, we will be below historical. So
Okay, well,
Where,
we
where,
have
are
some.
we, where, are we, where are we as we speak?
We are 772.
We beat Chad.
Okay, so we can definitely whittle it down. I would still like to go through the language, and then suggest a revision period. So I'm trying to
Okay.
read through what we had before.
All right, you should go right ahead. Great. I think that once we start to wordsmith, we'll do the whittling down or the wordsmithing.
Right, because I am about to put 3 paragraphs here. Okay, so this next one about generational continuity reads, whereas we affirm our sacred responsibility to those who came before us and those yet to be born, we affirm that the stewardship of our cultural, natural resources, and community institutions must reflect a deep commitment to intergenerational equity, recognizing that the sovereign sustainability and survival of these Virgin Islands depends upon intergenerational justice. And whereas our ancestors endured tremendous sacrifice to secure our rights and future, we hereby affirm our duty to preserve and advance that legacy through systems and institutions rooted in care, continuity, and long-term vision.
You put some thought into a lot of the words because the words hit just right. And I agree with that also that you just read.
And
couldn't
as we
say,
read it, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
and I was going to add, I couldn't say it any better. Like, these words are very, very powerful and
Yes.
must be included in this preamble.
So we're really going to get to probably like 1,000 words.
And as I read it, there were some places where, stewardship of our cultural, natural resources and community institutions, we do talk about in other places. So I think we could, once we get the first draft, we can go through for redundancy and clarity. I think we can get some of this out to shorten it.
Any questions or comments from any of the other committee members or even any delegate? Any comment?
I just want to say I understand what you're saying because, in almost every committee or everything, we keep going back. So whatever we have to say can fit in. It don't have to necessarily be in culture. It could be somewhere else as long as we get the
Exactly.
wording in.
Correct. Member Bilada de O'Neill, are you trying to say something? Are you on mute? You're on mute?
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Are you going to offer a comment, a suggestion?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
I don't think you can hear me, but I said I'm okay with what's the conversation that is going on.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Any other comment or suggestion?
Rupert didn't get on.
Devin, you're trying to say something or somebody say it. Is that you, Devin? I'm
No,
not
that's
hearing
not,
you
that's not me.
altogether.
That's not me. That's not me.
Oh,
I was asking Mr. Ross didn't get on.
Delegate Velarde, can you please mute your phone? Thank you.
no, but he has this whatever Imani's putting on the screen. She sent a copy to Rupert so he can follow along.
Okay.
So any other comment or suggestion? If not, we'll go on. I'll let Imani continue with her suggestions. Do you want us to vote on each section as we're going, or wait for it in totality? What's the best way?
It's totally up to you all.
I was asking some of the members how they'd like to move on from. I'm ready to vote for these two whereas clauses. I just want to hear their opinion. Member Hendricks,
Yes.
that Carrington, you're on mute.
I'd rather that we hear out the language before we vote on it.
Okay, Akima,
I do like the language, so I do also support the language.
and how would you vote? Should we hear everything in totality for those the five bullets, and then go back and vote, or vote each one separately?
I think we can do it individually. I'm
So we're
perfectly
looking at
fine.
this one. I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm perfectly fine with individually voting.
Okay, so we're looking at the language as it appears on the screen. Uh, generational continuity. Um,
May I?
who's Imani?
Yes.
Yes.
I was gonna agree with Delegate Carrington that I think we should get through all of the language and then look at it holistically.
Member
Yes.
Hendricks.
I agree.
Member Richardson.
That
You're
is
gonna
fine.
change what you just said.
Yes.
Okay, and Member Carrington.
As I suggested, I think we should listen to the language, uh, look for redundancies and things that we've said before, and whittle it down before we vote on it.
Okay, so we'll just go right through your presentation, Imani, and then we'll go back and vote.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So if we scroll down to the next section, this one was my favorite. This is on gender justice and inclusion. So I'll read it out. Whereas we affirm the equal rights and full participation of all genders in the civic, social, and economic life of the Virgin Islands. We especially acknowledge the historic and ongoing contributions of girls, women, and gender-expansive people, despite their exclusion from decision-making power and protection under the past legal frameworks. And whereas the achievement of a just and equitable society requires the full recognition of gender rights, protections, and leadership, we commit to the pursuit of gender justice and the dismantling of patriarchal systems that hinder equality, autonomy, and dignity for all.
I like that, but how do we dismantle those patriarchal systems?
Well, I think this in the preamble, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is where we are able to be aspirational, as opposed to like in government structure where we have to have a implementation and a recourse for everything. But if it's too loose, happy to hear Wordsmith's suggestions.
No, I just saw that. I thought I like it. I just like to know how to go about doing whatever, or even an idea or a suggestion. Any other comment or question regarding the gender justice and inclusion portion? Okay, hearing none.
I would
I'm
definitely
sorry?
support that.
Say again. Get closer to your
I
microphone.
said I will definitely support that.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to hear from the gentleman.
Yeah, Rudel, we know that you have a thought.
Yes, I definitely support it.
I am also in support of the language that's been read thus far, just with the caveat that it's a bit wordy.
Get closer to your microphone.
I said that I agree with I support the language that has been offered just for. My only reservation is that they are a bit wordy. WORDY.
DY. Mhm. Noted.
Yes, noted and agreed. I don't know. You picture the guys in like the 1700s with their wigs on, just quill going ham on the paper. They were so wordy then. I thought we could do it now, but happy to pare it down, Devin. Okay, the last section here is
Let me hear from, hold on a minute, please. Let me hear from member Delegate Richardson. Are you good with that whereas clause?
Yes, I am good with this whereas clause.
All right, thank you. All right, continue, Imani.
okay. This is the final one. If you scroll down, perfect. Thank you. So this is about climate resilience and environmental justice. Whereas the Virgin Islands exists at the front lines of climate change and environmental degradation, and our people, particularly low-income and historically marginalized communities, face disproportionate burdens from ecological disruption, hurricanes, and rising seas. And whereas environmental justice is inseparable from social, economic, and generational justice, we assert our right to climate resilience, ecological restoration, and sustainable stewardship of our lands, waters, and resources in perpetuity.
And in addition to this, I like it. Wasn't there something in the chat that was put in, or was it in another meeting? We've had so many meetings about the, what was it called? I think Devin, you were making reference to that. The
Land and water use plan?
Yes.
The comprehensive land and water use plan.
Comprehensive, right. Comprehensive land and water use plan. So we're going, that fits right into that plan. So I'm in favor of this whereas clause here also. Let me hear from some of the other members.
I'm fine with it.
Okay. Member Richardson.
In this section on environmental justice, I am also in support of the language.
Okay, and Devin.
I love the theme. But I'm looking at it from the perspective of trying to pare it down. But the theme is perfect.
Okay.
Right up my alley, to tell you the truth.
Exactly.
Delegate Wells, may I
Yes.
have the floor?
Yes, you may.
Are you currently editing this document?
It's just being presented today, and then we're gonna go back and vote on each section, and then I guess if we have time, because I wanted to do Article 14, at least begin that today. We can start our wordsmithing / editing probably next week before we send
Okay,
it on for plenary.
because I have one suggestion for wordsmithing on the last section.
Mhm.
You can only scroll up. There's no need for any adjustments, but the last section where it says girls, comma, woman, I would have simply changed it to lessen the wording to women of all ages, if appropriate.
Where, oh, I just saw that.
Yes.
Women,
And
girls, comma, women, and you would contributions of
women of all ages
women of all age. Okay.
and gender expansive people, and I would leave it as is.
Okay. Noted. That's noted. All right. Member Daniel.
Well, that's the. I do just want to address Delegate Richardson's point there. I specifically named girls because I think there are so many structural opportunities for harm for young girls or girls in general. So I wanted to explicitly carve out protections in the Constitution for them as adolescents.
Okay, let's check
Noted. Noted. Do you think we should include boys, or should it remain as is since boys are also under the category of men?
Yeah, I think as I saw it was because we give so much homage to other historically marginalized groups like people of color, people of or descendants of slaves, indigenous people. And structurally, women and girls have also been marginalized and left out. So I think as part of a justice and equity value, we name that. And so it's no shade to boys or men or males or however people identify. It's just that this is a rejection of the current status quo.
Great. Thank you for that.
All right, Member Daniel.
So
Daniel.
Yes, that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much. I do agree with Delegate Carrington. Happy to work on paring this down a bit as well and then re-suggesting it to the group. But I'm glad that you all agree with at least the values and the themes here. Thank you.
So thank you also for your presentation. So now we need to go back up to the first bullet. And we're going to vote to accept what's presented with the caveat that we'll wordsmith or pare it down later on. Is that what I was hearing when we first started, when I asked delegates?
Yes, that's my recollection.
Okay,
Yes,
so
that was my thought as well.
Okay, so we're now looking at reparative or restorative justice as presented. I'd like to have votes from the members of the committee and then from the other delegates as to acceptance. Delegate Carrington?
Yes.
Yes. Delegate Richardson?
Yes.
Thank you. Delegate Hendricks?
Yes.
And Delegate Wells, yes. So we can have, that's 4 yes. Delegate, I don't see Ronald on here anymore. I was going to ask him to put in his vote on the chat, but I'll leave that until later. Delegate
Wells.
Yes.
Delegate Wells, if I
Yes.
may, since it seems as if we have I didn't hear any opposition to any of the language. Why don't we just vote them in a block?
Great. Okay. The suggestion is that we look at all 5. If you have your telephone and you also have your laptop or your iPad on, is going to make that noise. So you should only have one thing on. You can't have more than one on the same line, because that's what's making that noise. Oh yeah, all right. Delegate Russell also said that he's here, and he's let me see. I'm here. Give me 1 second. He didn't answer about what he thought of the language yet. But we're looking now, as was suggested, that we look at the 5 bullets that were enumerated by Delegate Daniel, and we're going to vote on them in one block. You either for all 5 or whichever ones you don't want. So Delegate Akima Richardson. I'm not hearing from her. Delegate Hendricks.
I'm in agreement with the 5.
All right. Delegate Carrington.
Yes, on all 5.
Carrington and Wells, yes, for all 5. And I don't know if Delegate Richardson got kicked out because I'm not. Oh, she's on mute. So we have a consensus on all five, and then now we just have to and Delegate Ronald Russell too is in agreement with the language, so we have total agreement. Thank you very much. Then we need to go back and do our wordsmithing and consolidation once we see what has been offered by some of the other standing committees, because I like many of you on this line have been to numerous meetings where we're hearing a lot of repetitive um, language,
Yeah.
right? So that we can get, I guess we won't be able to get to the point where we'll be able to hear and wordsmith and cut down unless we're all sitting around a table, I guess, with our computers or pads and cutting and pasting. Um,
Can I suggest something in terms of wordsmithing?
yes, you may.
In the reparative or restorative justice, I would say, whereas centuries of racial oppression have inflicted material, psychological, and systematic harm. So I would replace slavery, colonial exploitation, racial discrimination, and political
Get closer to your microphone. I missed the last part.
I was just suggesting that the phrases colonial exploitation, racial discrimination, and political disenfranchisement
Uh-huh.
be replaced whereas centuries of racial oppression. I think that the common understanding, I hope, is that racial oppression encompass all those other phrases.
I
That's my
I
thought. That's my thought.
okay. Let me hear from other members before I speak. Member Hendricks.
I understand where he's coming from, but I think that the other one had a little more power to it.
Okay. Delegate Richardson, are you still on mute? There.
No, I just took it off.
Okay.
So just to confirm, Delegate Wells, can you rephrase what Delegate Carrington said about racial oppression?
In the part about reparative or restorative justice, he was suggesting that colonial exploitation, racial discrimination, and political disenfranchisement be taken out, correct me, Devin, and replaced by racial discrimination,
Racial oppression.
racial oppression.
So Devin wants to take out all of the three
Mhm.
and place racial oppression, correct?
Yes.
The only stance I would remove, if applicable, would be political disenfranchisement. Simply because, well, let me see. Whereas centuries of racial oppression has inflicted material, psychological. I see where Delegate Carrington is coming from. Um, hmm, hmm. I
And
would like to.
mind you, I'm not trying to soften the impact of what is being said. I'm just being mindful of the amount of words we have in our preamble. That's the only reason.
So basically, you're trying to put all three in one, correct?
Correct.
Okay, then I would say yes, we can change it to racial oppression.
I I disagree. I'm like Delegate Hendricks. I think those words need to stay in there, and probably we can wordsmithing and find some words someplace else. But I think those words say exactly what we wanted to say. So I'm in agreement with that, with the whereas as presented. Let me see what Delegate Russell says. He didn't say anything yet. So that's member. Oh, member Russell also thinks that the word should stay as presented. So that's Russell, Hendricks, and Wells who think that it should stay the way it is, and Carrington and Richardson thinks that we should change it. Member Rudel Hodge, what do you think? Or you jumped off so someone could be on. Thank you.
Delegate Wells, question.
Uh-huh.
May I have the floor, Delegate Wells?
Yes, you may.
So this section right here, this will be in our preamble. My question for you is this section right here the official opening section of our Constitution?
Yes, it would be the preamble, yes. But of course,
Okay.
this language has to be agreed on by all of the delegates before it's,
Correct.
yeah.
I think that it will be received well by the full convention. Um, I see both sides, and I understand not wanting to water down the past experiences of our Virgin Islands ancestors. But, well, I see both sides, Delegate Well, but thank you.
You're welcome. So far we have Russell, Wells, Hendricks, Russell, Wells, Hendricks, and Wells. Russell, Wells, Hendricks. There was somebody else. The three for maintaining the language as presented, and Carrington and Richardson for changing it. So we want to maintain the language as presented because we
Sorry.
only need, I'm sorry?
Sorry, I was muted. I was trying to ask for the floor.
Oh, you may speak.
Okay, so if we're trying to pare this down, we could take out particularly those of African descent. I mean, it's kind of implied in slavery and colonial exploitation and racial discrimination. Of course, it happens to other groups, but I think that's implied. So if you all are okay, we could remove that to try to shorten.
Delegates Carrington and Richardson, would that help?
You know, the thing for me is that do we all agree that the preamble needs to be shortened, the preamble as a whole? If not, we just leave the words in. If everybody thinks, I mean, how many paragraphs would we have, including these that Imani just gave to us? How many paragraphs in all would we have?
I'm not certain, but I can check.
Or how many
Because
words?
as of last week, we only had one more paragraph to.
How many words would we have?
It's 13.
700 and, I'm sorry?
It's 13 paragraphs.
whole lot.
And I'll tell you the word count in a sec. It's around 990 words.
Now, my point is, if everybody, if the majority feels that we should keep all the language, I've got to go with the majority.
May I have the floor?
Yes, you may.
Also, after further research, Iran actually has the longest preamble, which, based on the translation, could be anywhere from 2,000 words to 2,500 words.
Okay.
So we still got a little bit of wiggle room before we become truly historic.
So I need to make this twice as long as what you're saying.
I'm saying that right now. Let's do it.
So, Member Carrington is going to go with the majority, and we're going to leave the words slavery, colonial exploitation, racial discrimination, and take out, delete
no,
African descent.
No, if we're gonna go with a long, if we're gonna go with a long preamble, let's keep in African descent.
So what about slavery, colonial
No, no.
exploitation?
Like I said, if we're gonna go with a longer type preamble, I would say just
Everything.
yes. Now, I just want to echo Imani's thought of earlier that we don't want to lose people in the preamble.
Um, Imani Daniel, do you want to respond or make a statement? Or it seems like we have agreement now on reparative and restorative justice.
Uh, I uh, I agree, and I think we should be cognizant, and I think we should let other delegates and maybe people within our families and circles read it and see what they think. I think this is fire language. Like, I read this and I want to blow into a conch shell. So you wouldn't lose me in it, but I realize that might not be the experience of everyone. So I say we test it out, we market it, and see how it's received.
Delegate Wells, may I have the floor, please?
Yes, you may, Delegate Richardson.
So, tracing back to the conversation, Delegate Wells, I think that what's happening is, I won't call any names, but I do feel that certain individuals are pushing or are in favor of a more palatable preamble. And I do think that the language as is important. But I do personally think that some individuals are not comfortable expressing that they do want a more palatable preamble. And that's all I have to say.
Hmm.
Can I can I
Interesting.
ask can I ask what's meant by palatable?
Did you hear Devin Akima?
Yes, I heard Delegate Carrington. Palatable meaning the raw depiction of the experiences expressed in the first line of the preamble, including the slavery, the exploitation, the discrimination, and the disenfranchisement. If we take those out and we replace it with racial oppression, that kind of lessens the impact of what's being represented
So based on
in the
what you said,
first line.
which one would be more palatable?
I'm sorry?
Based on what you said, which one would be more palatable in your opinion?
Well,
Leaving it
well,
in,
well,
or
well,
one?
palatable is always subjective to everyone
Yes,
differently.
yes.
So I will abstain from answering your question.
All right. Um, um, what, Ms. Richardson, just keep in mind that what we're seeing is not the first paragraph. We've got several paragraphs before that begin the preamble. These are just the latest additions to the preamble.
Noted, Delegate Carrington. Thank you.
Any other comment about that whereas clause there? Well, we'll agree. Because we have four, and delegates Carrington and Richardson. You're still no delegate Richardson. You're still. Oh, excuse me. Not for having slavery, colonial exploitation, racial discrimination, and political disenfranchisement in there. You want to have those words deleted. Yes?
That is a strong statement, Delegate Wells. But
Question?
at the time, I was in support of Devin's proposal. Devin withdrew his proposal. So, in support of Devin Carrington withdrawing his proposal, I am fine with what all of the delegates have decided in remaining the language as is.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm so sorry I misconstrued that. Thank you so much. So the reparative justice or reparative or restorative justice is as presented and will be presented during the plenary session. Good, we're going down to the next whereas. Generational continuity. Are we all in agreement with what has been presented?
Delegate Wells, if I may.
Yes, Devin.
I thought we just voted.
Mr. Wells just reminded me we voted on that already.
Yes,
So
we did.
sorry. So we're done with, can we scroll down? Climate drill center invite. So we're finished with those whereas clauses.
Yes, we are.
Hip, hip. Whew.
Yay.
Thank you very much, delegates. Whew. Stand up and take a stretch and a
Oh,
wiggle
yes.
and drink a drink of water or whatever you're drinking. Some Marby or some cane rum or something.
I had some coconut water.
Oh, that sounds so good. I can't wait to be able to stop by Archie and get a whole gallon of that. Okay, thank you. So wonderful. And Ronnie, we're happy that you're still hanging in here with us. Thank you so much. So now we should look at Article 14. And we need to bring that up on the Article 14 from the 5th Constitutional will be on our left. And I don't have any agreed on language or proposal that came to me. I don't know if anybody else, I should know. We have proposed language for, so Member Hendricks, you're still not seeing this side by side, are you?
No, I'm not, but I can hear and I'm following along.
Okay, I just want to, and Member Bellato de O'Neill,
Yes.
are you seeing the 5th constitutional draft on your left and the proposed language for Article 14 on your right?
She's a bit issue with her microphone.
Your microphone.
Yeah, so that's I'm muting her.
Okay. There's an issue with your microphone that's making that noise. Okay. The proposed language.
Mine?
No, turn it off because there's something wrong with your microphone. Yes, Liliana. The proposed language for Article 14, as submitted by Imani, Declaration of Cultural Sovereignty. Can you read that, please, Imani?
Yes, and just to recap, I proposed this language, I think, 2 meetings ago, and we got through about half of it. And so there were still 4 sections left to be deliberated. So anything that's green at the top, your committee already approved. I think it's the first 3 sections. And then the last 4 sections have not been reviewed. But because it's been not so long, because we went into the preamble to finish that work, I'm happy to review or remind or answer any questions, noting that we have about a half hour left. So just let me know the best use of time.
The best use of time, I believe, and I stand to be corrected, would be to review the sections that we didn't agree on, and then should time allow, go back to that section. How do the other delegates feel? Because I know we didn't finish with 2 portions of this cultural part. Any strong feelings about that suggestion or no?
No, that's fine.
That's fine. Okay, so continue, Imani, with the sections that we didn't deal with as yet.
Okay, so similarly to the 5th, in section 3, we approved of a Virgin Islands Cultural Heritage Institute. And so this next section is about the composition and representation of that institute. I wrote this before we had composed other bodies within the Constitution. So I reserve the right to change my mind now that I've learned new methods. But I'll read it, and it's Section 4. Well, let me go down. Section 5 is funding and legislative mandate for the Institute and the Territorial Cultural Plan. Section 6 is intersectional cultural justice as a value and an action. And then Section 7 is cultural documentation and definition.
Okay, as an aside here, let me just say that I was trying to get someone from the Cultural Institute who had information on this. I only had a snail mail post office box, so that's how I wrote to them, and I didn't hear anything for last week's meeting. I suggested if the snail mail had gotten there late, that person could be on today. I didn't hear anything, so tomorrow I'll send another snail mail to see if they can be on for next week. But that's the only alternative I have, unless somebody can get to that person.
What is the name of the person, Miss White?
Myron Jackson.
Oh, okay.
So I wrote and I got nothing back at all. There was no email listed, no telephone number listed, only a post office box 320. All right.
Delegate Wells,
Yes,
I may have Myron's phone number. I'll send it to you, okay?
thank you. Unless you want to contact him, and because it seems like anyway, whatever. All right, Imani.
Okay. So that's the overview of these last 4 sections. So I'll just read the 4th. Again, it's in relationship to the Cultural Heritage Institute. It says, Section 4, Composition and Representation. The governing body of the Institute shall include cultural tradition bearers, artists, educators, youth representatives, and scholars of Virgin Islands heritage. Its membership shall reflect the geographic and cultural diversity of the Virgin Islands and shall be defined by law.
Comments, question? To me, that's just so succinct. It's just comments, suggestions, yes, no, agreed, change.
I have a highlighted comment here that says legislative power. Devin, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you brought up maybe not wanting to have so much legislator influence here.
Well, here's my question, which may not answer yours, but it may. Having this Section 4 or any section in the Constitution, in essence, does it not make it law? In other words, this establishes a governing body of the Institute.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've named, in essence, who it shall include. I'm not sure whether or not the legislature needs to be any more involved in naming the composition and representation of the Institute.
Mm-hmm. May I respond?
Yes, you may.
Thanks. So agreed that we have the types of members of this institute, but we haven't addressed how, if their selection process or their selection criteria or how many of them there will be. So I think there's a lot to be left up to law, which was intentional now that I'm thinking back to when I was drafting this, which was intentional. The only safeguard I wanted was this diversity or pedigree of membership. Everything else I thought was fine to leave up to the legislature, but I'm happy to have discussions. From what I've learned, it's either we explicitly state it here in the Constitution, and that could be tricky, or we leave it up to law to be defined.
Well,
Thanks, member.
I'd say to you that the more precise we can be in the language that we present in the Constitution, the less wiggle room there will be for the legislature to misrepresent what our intent is.
Mm-hmm. So out of the things that I mentioned, or the other things with composition, right? The size of the body, how the members are selected, the term, all of those particulars, are you suggesting that we outline them here for the Cultural Heritage Institute?
I think the more precision, the better.
Okay, cool. I'm happy to have that discussion. I honestly didn't think it would be favorable to this group, so cool. Then we need to not round
I
robin.
mean,
Go ahead.
we have in other portions of the Constitution of the draft, we have named, we have prescribed, I should say, the numbers in any body. I think the Transition Commission, I think we had a number prescribed, did we not?
We did.
Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, I just think the less wiggle room we give them, the better that our intent is realized.
Okay.
I'm
I'm
sorry,
sorry.
member delegate Hendricks or Richardson, any comment or suggestion or discussion point? Let's see if I'm gonna check with Delegate Russell. Hearing none. Liliana or Rudel, any discussion or comments?
I'm fine with it.
Thank you. And I have no comments from Member Russell either. I'm good also. So we have consensus on composition and representation. Thank you.
I think, sorry, may I?
Yes, you may.
Thanks. I think Devin wanted to explore the particulars that we were talking about. Maybe it'd be helpful if I here. So, number of members, selection process, term length, and I guess functions. I think those are the things that we those are the things we have defined in the Constitution and other places like the SAGE Commission and the Compensation Commission. I do want to note, though, that this is an institute. And so in my mind, it's designed more like UVI or VI Council on the Arts, as opposed to like a constitutional convention or a compensation commission, if that makes sense.
More like a foundation board, similarly.
Yeah, like I think the institute, well, not I think, because I actually hate this idea, but I think what makes the most sense is that the institute is run by a board, and the board is what we figure out about, I guess, I mean, that's the governing body, but trying to figure these things out. But the institute, in my opinion, runs like a almost academic institution.
Okay, any comment from Richardson or Hendricks?
So in other words, Myron, as it sits now, is the president of the Cultural Heritage Institute.
No comment.
No comment from Delegate Richardson. What did you say?
No comments at this time,
Hendricks?
Delegate.
Thank you, Member Richardson.
Myron is the chair of this Cultural Heritage Institute as we speak.
I don't know. Devin, do you know?
The question was?
Is Myron the in charge of the Cultural Institute?
I'm not sure that he is now. I think he had some, he was involved with it at one point in time.
Ms. Wells, what I will do is I would also contact Felipe and see what information he can give me concerning This Cultural Heritage Institute.
Get closer to your microphone. You're gonna contact whom?
Felipe.
Oh, Ayala. Okay. Probably he can come on next week if he so desire.
Are we sure that there is a Virgin Islands Cultural Heritage Institute?
I'm not sure.
That's why I was going. That's why I said I would check with Felipe because he would know those things.
Right. I think this is designed by the 5th draft, and that's something that I thought was really cool. So pulled it over to the 6th. But yeah, feel free to check with your contacts. I'd be interested. I know there are lots of cultural and heritage institutes, commissions, projects. I would be surprised if this one existed. So back to composition and representation. Devin, since this was your inspired exercise, do you have any thoughts? Or I have the other commissions open if you'd like to review some of that language, but how can we move forward?
How large a body do you think this board should be? I guess well, diversity is not necessarily not necessarily a function of numbers, the numbers on the board, but I mean, it's a little tricky. Its members shall reflect the geographic and culture. Geographic, I guess, is easier. Cultural diversity. So, with respect to numbers and cultural diversity, how do you bridge that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like the WAPA board has what, like 7 people. UVI's board has probably like 15 or 20 people, I feel like. We have settled on 9 in previous instances.
My question is whether or not can you ensure greater cultural diversity with a greater number?
I think that question is more about the selection process.
Well,
you could have 3
yes,
members and be culturally diverse. You could have 100 and not be culturally diverse.
Right, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Broke.
with the cultural diversity we have in the Virgin Islands,
Mm-hmm.
I think we need at least 5 people to be able to represent the cultural diversity we have here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have
I also think just any group project, we should do a minimum of like 7 or 9. Just based on experience.
I have a note
This is
from
a lot.
Mr. Richardson. Mr. Richardson, I need to have
That was exaggeration.
a lesson how to pronounce your first name, and I think I know how, but I want to hear you say it. But Mr. Richardson says the language is quite important, and the quote fire unquote. But as a side note or slash consideration, students won't be learning slash reciting. It's the important 13 paragraph full preamble. So thank you very much for that comment, Mr. Richardson. I'm sorry, Imani, I interrupted you to read that. Please continue.
I'm sorry, I finished my thoughts, so I don't recall.
Okay, we're talking about the diversity of the board and the number of the board, the number of persons on the board.
Yeah, so is anyone opposed to 9 appointed members?
I'd say between 7 and 9.
I do
I can
too.
live with that.
Member Richardson, between 7 and 9 is being suggested. What's your take on that?
I support the range for 7 to 9.
Okay. Ronald, let me check with Ronald. So we have consensus on between 7 and 9 members.
Okay, so we can go to the selection process. I think I'd just like to recommend appointment, just so that we don't have so many elections, but totally open to discussion.
Who will be doing the appointing?
We could say 1/3 from the legislature, 1/3 from the governor, 1/3 from the university, something to that effect.
I can go with that. Let's hear from the other delegates.
I mean, that's the standard way we do it around here.
Judith.
Governor, legislature, and university, is that what you said?
Yes. I just threw out the university, happy to accept others.
We have do we have consensus on the selection process, delegates? A third from the governor, a third from the legislature, and a third from the university. You can just unmute and say and speak.
Yeah, I was going to add whatever that entity is that's like historic trust or something to that effect. I think they should have a say as well. But I'm not sure of their formal name.
Historic Trust Preservation, I think it is.
Yeah, St. Thomas Historic Trust. So maybe that's not the correct group, but there is some agency that should have a say here.
Probably we'll be clearer on that next week. I know there's a historic in fact, I was saying to my son earlier that I thought the group that Mr. Krieger was on, whichever one that is, and there was a person in St. Croix, and Christian said to be exact, who wanted to knock this building down to build a family home that was more modern. And Mr. Krieger, I thought he really did a good job as whatever his title is. He was telling him that you have land in front of that building that you can put this house that you desire. The building that we're discussing is was given to this person by their mother, and it has historical
What he bring?
Historical presence, and he did not recommend that the building be destroyed, that he should go and check with the different agencies and where he can get funding to restore the building. And I thought that was a very good thing for this man, Mr. Krieger, to be suggesting, because that meant that he was doing his job and he saw a quality building that should be preserved. I was very, very happy to read about that. Yes. That's the first time I think in all of my going to meetings I've heard someone from the historical preservation or historical trust or whatever it's called say that a building should not be destroyed. It should be preserved for whatever. I thought that was very, very good. That's just an aside. You can tell I have lots of time to read the source and the consortium and all of that. And the length of term, continuing on, we're back on track. The term length should be what? 3 years, 2 years, 4 years. Let's hear from the members. I think if people get on a committee and know that you're only going to be there for 2 to 4 years or whatever, they might say yes, rather than having to know that they're going to be there for 6, 7, or 8 years. That's just my personal take on that. Members, delegates, term length.
I would suggest 4 years. And I'm wondering if there should be term limits because it's an appointment.
Everything should have a term limit.
Speaking to your mic, I think you're saying yes, Member Hendricks.
Yeah, I think everything should have a term limit. You don't want to have somebody on the board for 20 years.
Well, once the people elect them,
And
I
I would
guess.
suggest that 4 years, but I would like to see um, staggered terms so that you will have a continuity as you go forward. I
4
don't know how,
years staggered term.
so you don't always have a new board coming in every time,
Mm.
but you will have
Uh,
people from before to continue with whatever was started.
Member Richardson, I know you're having problems with your phone. Um, are you back on?
Yes, Delegate
Okay.
Webb.
What do you think of the staggered term suggestion?
I think the staggered term is something I can support. And having heard no other suggestions, I also can support a 4-year term.
Great. Member Carrington?
4 years is fine.
Okay, and I'm fine with it also. Member Hendricks, she suggested, so we're good with that. All right. Member Belado de O'Neill or Rudell, do you want to say anything regarding any of the suggestions that are being made?
Uh, I'm also okay with 4-year terms. I will note that Mr. IMBKC Richardson stated in the chat, note on hard coding a body for a heritage organization. The only way a change to how the membership is chosen will end up being via amendment to the Constitution. So we do need to consider that. Do we want to make it? We want the compensation to be constitutional, or do we want the compensation to be by law?
And how do you pronounce that first name again?
IMBKC.
IMBKC, okay. That was a comment from Mr. Richardson that Delegate Rudell Hodge just read. Let me send it to.
Can he repeat that?
On hard coding a body for a heritage organization, the only way it changed to how the membership is chosen will end up being via amendment to the Constitution. Okay, noted. We're down to the function, Imani, and we have less than 12 more minutes.
So we still need to decide the term limits. And I also just want to say, I do agree with Mr. Richardson, but I do want to go through this exercise so we could see what it would look like to prescribe it in the Constitution. And then at the end, I think one of the fundamental questions is this constitutional level to address, or is this something that should be left up to law? But I do want to move forward in good faith. So we need to discuss term limits before function. So maybe Delegate Hendricks, did you have any suggestions because you agreed with it?
I have to think about it for a while, Imani.
Okay, a term is for 4 years, so we could say no more than 3 consecutive terms to break it up after a 12-year mark. Or, you know, you said you don't want someone who's been on this for 20 years, and I disagree. I think if it's a 7 to 9 member body, having 2 or 3 people who actually have been there or been in the field for 50 years, realistically, is incredibly helpful. But you don't want everyone to have been there for 50 years, right? So I'm a little wary of term limits because I think it, on one hand, it does inspire succession planning. But on the other hand, I think it does stop that intergenerational magic that we were trying to harness earlier in the preamble.
While Member Hendricks is thinking about that, does any other delegate have any suggestions for the term limit? Probably we could just leave that there and go down to the function. I imagine we could always go back to term limits after.
Okay.
Could
So,
always-
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go right ahead.
So we have the function of the institute established above. So we could just say that their function is to set policy and guide the operations. Well, no, they're not operations, but I don't know, like set the policy around the institute and keep it short and sweet, or we could enumerate some functions.
Short and sweet.
Appointing directors. Okay, so we'd like to keep it. I've got one for short and sweet. So let me try something quick. I don't like the word overseas, so I'm going to change that. But thoughts? The governing body of the institute shall set policy and oversee the functions of the institute.
Direct the functions of the institute.
Set policy and oversee what?
The functions of the institute. And I'm suggesting direct the functions of the institute.
Oh, okay. Even though I feel like that's for a director, but this is totally fine. The governing body of the institute shall set policy and direct the functions of the institute.
Comments or suggestions?
Short and succinct, I like it.
I'm sorry?
Short and succinct, I like it.
I do too.
I thought you'd like it, Devin.
Members Hendricks and
Yes,
Richardson?
Yes, I'm in agreement.
Okay,
I am also in agreement.
thank you. So that's a go. So we didn't complete the term limit line. Member Hendricks, did you think of
Off the top of my head, I had said 4 years.
Speak into your microphone.
4 years, and I still think that I like 4 years. You could be. These are going to be elected positions, or people are going
named by the governor, legislature, university, and probably the Virgin Islands Historic Preservation Commission. So they'll be named. That means it wouldn't have to go before the legislature, I imagine.
Okay. Imani was saying she liked longer terms.
Imani?
So for the actual term length, I think we agree on 4 years.
Right.
The term limit is how many of those 4-year blocks can you serve, and that's what I think we were trying to figure out. I am in favor of term limits, but then again, I'm not. So if people feel strongly about this topic, I think they should weigh in.
I don't feel strongly about it. I just like you stated earlier, some persons you need continuity, and if they're willing to serve and able to serve, they'll serve, and if they can't, they'll just serve their 4 years, and then they'll say, I've had enough. I can't do this anymore. And there'll be a vacancy and then there'll be a replacement.
Okay, so we can just scratch term limits. It
We
doesn't sound
can.
like anyone is strongly advocating for it, and we can always revisit it.
Agreed.
If I may,
Yes, you may.
a lot of these boards and commissions, my experience has been or has seen where people get tired
Yes.
after serving long terms and they stop showing up and quorums are not met and such and such. So if we, so I'm advocating in terms of having term limits, and the shorter the term limit, the better, I think, because you want a balance, but you want people who have the energy and the interest to do the job. And serving too long, I've seen people burn out, if I could use that term.
I agree with that.
So with that being said, Devin, what are the limits?
You know, I would say a term length of 4 years and leave it at that.
I agree with that. Someone's yes.
I think specifically about this topic, right? Cultural tradition bearers, artists, educators, youth representatives, and the scholars of Virgin Islands heritage. That feels so longitudinal in practice and also so minute in scale of how it's represented in the territory. And I think that's why we're trying to enshrine preservation for it. And because that feels so longitudinal as a practice to even get to that to get to the level that you could be appointed for this, I think we need continuity. And I don't think we have enough people um, or ability to pass down information within just 4-year blocks. And I think I've been consistent with I don't want to set arbitrary limits on anything or anyone if we don't have to around time, because time is so personal and fluid for individuals. So I'm going to advocate against term limits here, but I also am not a member of this committee, and I want the committee to vote as however they feel is appropriate.
Would you be able to live with 6 years, Imani? Or you just don't want no term limits at all?
No, if I was sitting on this commission, I would want at least 2 people who had been here for 20 years.
Ooh.
It's a long time, Imani.
And I say at least 2, and also probably no more than 2. But yeah, I'm thinking of like this institute with just millennials changing out every 4 years. That sounds like a podcast, and that's about it. That's not traditional culture bearing, so.
Mr. Richardson says 15 years is functionally a generation. So term limit wise, 4-year terms are max. So as culture changes, composition changes. It makes sense. So
I
he's
think that
suggesting a term limit of
let's sleep on it and maybe speak to some other people. Like I told you, I will call Mr. Ayala, Felipe, and I will get a feel from him because he has been on all of these historical trusts and all these things for a while. And he knows a lot about culture, and he just knows everything.
Maybe I agree with Member Hendricks. Maybe we should speak to someone who has had experience on boards or bodies like this, and
Yes.
and how their functionality is affected by longevity or not. So maybe we should wait to get some expert and experiential advice.
And I will have those answers for our next meeting. And
next Tuesday. Point
right.
well taken. I'm going to note that. Member Richardson, what do you think?
I think based on what I'm hearing from my fellow committee members, everyone is in favor of seeking expertise advice. And I do see both sides again. I see how, like Delegate Carrington said, you want people who are in these roles who enjoy what they're doing, who don't feel like they're being stuck along the terms of a contract. Because I think 20 years would possibly lead to complacency if the person is not really enjoying what they're doing. But then I do see Delegate Daniel's point where, if they do stay long in the position, they can become an expertise on the subject matter. So I agree with my fellow committee members on us seeking expertise advice.
Okay, so
Mr.
we
Carrington, you
will,
said that
Member
sorry,
Hendricks,
I'm so sorry. Mr. Carrington, you said you will get to Myron and I will get to Mr. Ayala. And between the two of them, we could probably, at the next meeting, even ask them if they can, I don't know if they can join in. I don't know what, if they could send something
we
in
would send them the
writing.
link, and they don't have to
All right.
stay for the entire meeting. They could come on for the first
Not that, yeah, not, yeah.
15, 20, half hour of the meeting, because time is time. Okay, all seems to be in favor of us having persons who have expertise in these areas, so we can be guided, and then we could answer the question about term limits. Um, it is now 8:02. I'm sorry, and we still have to do the term limit, and we need Section 5, funding and legislative mandate. So we can pick up there, Section 5, next Tuesday, God's willing. And then we should be able to start our trek towards plenary session. Imani?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll make a note of that.
Yeah, I mean, this committee is almost done.
We
You really
most
have
certainly are.
these 3 sections left, and then however you want to do your final review and presentation, I guess. But yeah, well done.
Yeah, we're doing well. Thank you to all the members, delegates. Thank you to the persons who are not members of the committee but who show up all the time. Thank you very much. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move that this meeting be adjourned at 8:07.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any objection? Hearing none, thank you very much for your time and your talent and your expertise. Have a great evening. See you next Tuesday, 6 to 8. Same way, same time. And we'll continue with the funding area of this culture area, and we'll hopefully have Felipe Ayala and Myron Jackson as our guests. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Night.
See you tomorrow.
Good night.
Good night.
Imani, you better, tomorrow is your meeting.
Yes, we are ready for you all tomorrow at government structure. Can't wait.
All right.
Okay. I just wanted you to remind them.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, tomorrow from 5 to 9 p.m. virtually.
Thank you. And thank you
Imani,
for all the help
that's
as usual.
long.
Happy to help. Have a good night, everyone.
All right.
Okay. 5 to 9 is a long time.